It did a good number on just ripping that insulation right off. That's definitely not recommended to stick your finger in the hole like I am doing. It's been frustrating at times. Good morning, y'all. Welcome back. Joseph here, Life After 55. On the last video I did a flyover of the solar panels and the rail system. I failed to mention the fan. Now, I'm sure you probably saw the fan. That was a scary day for me. Cutting a 14 by 14 inch hole in the top of the van to put the fan in. Yeah, that was just a scary day, you know, making sure it's lined up properly and all that, making sure I don't cut too much, but I did it, and it all worked out. I got it sealed up. We've had some rain since then. I even did a pressure wash test and everything is sealed and it's working just fine. Well, the fan's not working yet because I don't have any power. Today's another scary day because today I'm actually going to run the wires for the solar panels down into the van, getting ready to start to hook up the electrical system. That means cutting another hole into the van. So I'm running 3 200-watt Renogy solar panels. I'm going to run those in series. Now, for those of you who don't know, like I didn't know probably a couple weeks ago, the difference between series and parallel. Again, I'm not an electrician, so all this is new for me. When you run the solar panels in series, that means connecting the positive wire from one to the negative to the other, the positive wire of that one to the negative of the other. That leaves a positive on one and a positive on the other to come down into the charge controller. Actually, it's going to go into a disconnect first, out of the disconnect into a charge controller. So again, positive from the first one into the negative of the second, positive of the second into the negative of the third. That leaves the negative of the first one and the positive of the third one. Those will be what runs down into the van, into the disconnect, into the charge controller. That means I have to cut another hole. It takes a 5/8 or 3/4 inch hole to run the wires down. The wires will actually run through here, come down, and then this will get sealed onto the van with sealant and adhesive. I don't have a 5/8 or 3/4 inch drill. I've got a 1/2 inch drill. I can't make a run to Home Depot because everything's already up on top of the van. I've already connected the wires together and tested them to make sure that everything was functioning, and I can't just pack it all up and head to Home Depot, and I don't have another car. It's midweek. I'm at my buddy's house and everybody's off to work. So we're going to go with the 1/2 inch drill. We're going to see if that works. If it doesn't, I'm going to try and open it up a little bit. And yeah, so here we go. Hopefully you'll actually be able to see this. I'm going to angle the camera over. I don't really have a great place to put it, but we'll see what kind of footage comes out. All right, so I'm going to start with a 1/2 inch pilot hole. And then check it underneath. Got kill mat adhesive and insulation on that. So I'm going to check that underneath to make sure it's in a good spot. All right, well that was scary for a second because I couldn't find the hole. I was looking on the wrong side, but I found it. It's in a good position. Just to be safe, I'm actually going to make that pilot hole a little bit bigger. And let's go see what happened there. All right. Well, I got to show you this because that was a mistake. Not a huge mistake, recoverable. The drill went down and got wrapped up into the insulation that I have on the ceiling right there. And yeah, it did a good number on just ripping that insulation right off. That's okay because I have more. But you can see right there where the hole is. So it's coming down in a good spot. And those wires will run over to that edge right there and run all the way back and then down to where the disconnect and charge controller is going to be. So, well, I got myself a hole. I just have a little mess to clean up when this is all done. So now we'll go ahead and open this up to a 1/2 inch. All right, well, I actually used the drill there not the way a drill's supposed to be used, and kind of went around the edges a little bit to open it up a little bit more. It calls again for that 5/8 to 3/4, and I don't have it, so I just used the drill to see if I can open it up. I need room for 2 wires to go through, plus I'm going to put a grommet on that after I file it, and put a little paint on it as well so we don't get any rust. So let's go ahead and file this up. Now, it's definitely not recommended to stick your finger in the hole like I am doing to check for any sharp edges. Not recommended because you will cut yourself. But this is not a instructional video, and I do a lot of things I'm not supposed to do. I'm going to use my special paintbrush, get it nice and saturated. Rub it around there. That's worked out just fine. Now we'll give that time to dry. All right, so I did a quick little vacuum job, got up most of the shivers of steel there, and now I'm gonna see about this grommet, giving the paint time to dry. So we got the grommet put in place. Got 10 gauge wire that needs to go down in through that hole, and that's going to stretch it out pretty good. But because that rubber grommet's there, I don't see any issues with the wire rubbing on anything. So I think that hole is going to work. Okay, so here I am. I'm just simply feeding the wires through that cable entry gland and then down into the van. Now I decided to go ahead and seal the gland as I did with the fan by using butyl tape and then lap sealant. Everything seemed to be working just fine when I got done, but it happened to rain this night and, well, there was a leak. So what you see me doing right here, all of this had to be redone. That's okay. Lesson learned. I actually had the gland probably facing the wrong way anyway. The cables shouldn't have been coming in from the front of the van. I should have had it turned around. And so when I redid it, I actually went ahead and had to take that gland off, get rid of all the butyl tape, get rid of all of the lap sealant, pull the wires through, clean everything, and redo it. And now it's actually working. I actually used screws to screw it down. I didn't use lap sealant, but I used Sikaflex, and it's holding just fine now. This is a self-leveling lap sealant, so it wants to run down, and it just did not seal properly. All right, now that I've got the wires passed through into the van, I can't just leave them here. I've got 20 foot of wire here. So I'm gonna go ahead and run these right now to where I think they're gonna be going later on this week or next week when I get the rest of the wiring done. But guys, these are connected to the solar panels. The solar panels are connected to each other. So right now, these are hot wires. There's power running through these wires right now. You really need to be careful about that. So let me show you real quick. All right, so I've got the positive and the negative wires here. I've got a meter hooked up, sitting up over here. If I connect these leads, and just hold these, I can look at the meter and see that there is amperage being pushed through these wires. Let me see if I can get that for you. All right, so I'm gonna try and hold these leads into these wires and get the camera close enough so you can see as the leads are in there, those are amps pushing through these wires. So these wires are hot right now, and those solar panels are pushing out 11, 12 amps right now. To run these wires through the van to where they need to go, I'm gonna first use some electrical tape and tape up the ends. All right, so I got the ends taped up. I'm gonna go ahead and run them through again to where I believe they're gonna be. In my mind, I've kind of got it figured out where I'm gonna have all the electrical components, all the Victron components set up, where the batteries are gonna go, the battle-born batteries, the inverter charger, the DC-DC, the charge controller, the disconnect. But things can change, because with me, they've been changing a lot. So I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again and again and again and again, but living in the van while trying to build the van makes this so much harder. That's okay. You know, I have to do what I have to do. Yes, it would be nice if I had a place to stay and the van was just parked and I didn't have a bed set up and I didn't have a kitchen set up and I could just run all the electrical and then get the wood and run all that and get the appliances and set everything up. But I can't do that. This is the way I've got to do it. So it makes it a little bit more tougher, a little bit more tough, but that's okay. I'm game for it. As you'll see in a future video coming up probably soon, the kitchen that I have set up, the makeshift kitchen that is very poorly constructed, that's going to be coming down soon. In order to do what I need to do with the electrical, that's actually got to come down, and then I'll probably have to rebuild something and make it a little nicer. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and run this wire through. I'm going to go ahead and use tape. Now I've got conduit and I've got round grommets I don't really see the necessity for conduit to go through here, but where this goes through, I'm going to go ahead and use electrical tape and tape the wires together and run them through. Okay, so what I'm actually doing here is I'm just taking a guess on where this wire is going to be in contact with the channel and where there's going to be pressure. And where that's going to take place, I'm using tape and wrapping the tape around that. Now these wires already have a very thick coat of insulation on them, so I'm not too concerned. I did have a question from somebody who asked me to show, hey, how are you running these wires through the van? I'm really interested in that. He's probably never seen one, doesn't realize of the channels that are located in there. So that's why I'm showing this. Of course, I'm showing you that I'm putting it in the wrong hole, pulling it out, and now redoing it. But I'm being very careful to feed the wire through with one hand and gently pull with the other. Now I can tell you, I've seen some other videos where people have ran some wires through the same channels that I'm running them, and when they've done it, the edges of the van have actually scraped the outside of the wire. I've also seen it where somebody was cut doing this. This is a 2021. I don't know what year that person had or other people have had. These edges are not sharp. I can run my finger along here all day long and they are not sharp. So yes, I'm using some precaution with some tape in some places, but I really don't feel the need to tape the whole thing or to use conduit on the whole thing. Okay, I'm going to continue running it through, then I'm going to run it down, and I'll show you where it terminates. Okay, that wiring job is done. As you saw earlier, the solar panel wires are coming from the roof down into a channel that goes across behind that light, through here, behind this support beam, comes out up here. You can see the red and black here, comes out here. Now I don't have, again, the whole thing taped or in conduit, but I do have some electrical tape to keep them together in certain spots, especially where it's actually hitting. There's no pressure here. Here it's coming down across this piece, so I went ahead and taped it there. It's coming down through this channel here. Again, I do have it taped here because it is got some pressure coming against the bottom right here, but no pressure up here. Very free. Now, of course, there will be movement as the van is going, but again, I can run my finger across here. Nothing. There's no sharp edges there, but I do have it here because it is going to hit here a lot. Comes down again because I'm living and the bed is up. Makes it more difficult. But that wire is coming down behind. A lot of light coming in, so it's hard to see. The wire's right there going through that support beam, that middle support beam here. It's going down there, coming out the bottom here, and then I simply have it taped up or zip tied together. Again, the ends I have electrical tape on both of them because these wires are hot. Power is running through these wires right now, so I'm just going to set those up there because, again, I'm not ready to connect them. This is pre-wiring. There's the batteries. There's the inverter charger over there. There's the distribution panel over there. There's more stuff over there. All right, I've got stuff everywhere. It's a slow process. I've said it before. I'll say it again and again and again and again. But it's an enjoyable process. It's something I've enjoyed learning. It's been frustrating at times, but this is another big step. One more step closer to getting the power hooked up, and then I can have heat, and then I can get back up to Nashville. All right, I'm going to end this right here. Thanks for watching. The next video should be more pre-wiring. Before I get power hooked up into the van, I've got to get all the wires ran that I think I'm going to need for switches, for the fan, for the heater. I've got to get the bed tore down. I've got to get plywood put up against the side walls of the van. But before I can do that, I've got to get the wires ran, because the wires will be running behind that. So that's what's up next. Some more wiring on the van, and then I can have some power. Just remember, whether you're 26, 56, like me, or 76, folks, get out there and live your best life. Live your best life as I'm living mine. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace out.